Hello Flosstube, my name is Kristen, and if you are new here, this is a channel about cross stitch. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. Today is November 2nd, and this will be a recap of what I stitched on for the month of October. And then we're going to figure out what I'm going to stitch on for the month of November. So I kind of put it out there as a poll. I had showed 4 groups of projects and had you guys vote, and I got 3 votes, and they were all for 3 different groups of projects. So I put them in one of the little wheelie things, and we'll spin the wheel, and that will help me figure out what I'm going to stitch on in November. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of haul. I bought my first unconventional cross stitch chart. There was a tragedy in the owner. They lost their business and their home in a fire. So there were other designers putting things out on Facebook, like, if you can, please support them and, buy some charts. So I bought at least 1 chart. And this is A Long Journey. And that looks like the unicorn from the last unicorn. So I thought I would grab it. And if you too can at least buy 1 chart and maybe help those guys out, that would be awesome. And I am just stitching it on. This is I mentioned my last video, I had a bad dye job that I really can't use. It's just not good. But I'm just going to, this is a Lugana. I'm not going to open it all the way up because then you'll really see all my, so I just figured it's full coverage, so I'm just going to stitch on this. And I had a lot of the flosses already, so we shall see when I work that into something. And then I discovered a floss tuber. I'm pretty sure the name is Dace. I'll put information in the description box. And I binge watched a few of his videos, and he had stitched a long dog all in beads. And I was like, that looks really cool. But there's no way I would start with something that big. So I just thought I would give a small ink circles a try. So I got 4 Delis. And I'm going to use a piece of Picture This Plus Wren that I already had. This is Lugana. And then I bought a few packages of Capri Blue. And I thought that I was going to do it all in that color. But then while I was at Hobby Lobby, I also grabbed a package of, these are Delicas. I grabbed a package of Metallic Blue Iris, which I'm not sure these are going to show up on the camera. But I thought I could use the darker one to just do maybe some accents. We'll see. Again, not sure when I'll roll that in, but whoop, rolling it in. They're rolling off the table there. And then I also got a Dimensions, Charts, and Charms, which I found on Marketplace. And it was local, which doesn't happen very often that I find something that I actually want local on Marketplace. And it is Milady and the Unicorn. Coincidentally, another unicorn. That was cute. It's a little bit cartoony, but I think it's cute. That is what I have for haul. So I'm going to show you my progress on my October pieces. So these first 2 are my monthly focus pieces. So this is Mustang by Avid Stitch. I really only worked on this one for like a day, which is bad because I'm trying to get this done for Christmas. And this is on 18 count Wispy Clouds by Sunshine Printed Fabrics. I did get a bunch done in here though, and I think I finally finished the tail piece. I am going to a retreat in 2 weeks, and most likely we'll be stitching on that quite a bit there. I also have some time off this week, so in between all the other stuff I have planned to try to shove into this week with yard work and organizing and appointments, hopefully I'll get a little bit done on that. And then my full coverage focus piece is Mini Day Night by John Shannon from Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing this one on 25 count, 1/1, and I did 924 stitches, which for me is a good chunk. And I started up in here, and then I got a big chunk done in the blue. I think it was all this area. We'll see when I pull up my picture from last month. So I'm going to continue to work on that for November and December, and then I'm going to switch out my full coverage focus piece starting in the beginning of 2025. So October was my Teresa Wentzler month. Woo, it was an adventure for me. Now this one I had already started. You've seen this before. This is the little dragons that used to be freebies. And I had started stretch first, did something that aggravated me, and then I moved up here. So I did a bunch on Futurecast. I also have Rampant that I flipped, and that's going to face Futurecast, so he's going to go over here. And then I'll probably, I don't know if I'm going to go back to him and figure out what I did and try to fix it, or just finish Futurecast and switch over to Rampant and see what happens. And I dyed this. It was just a piece of Lugana that I had floating around. I worked on those guys for 4 days. 4 days, but my days are usually, an hour, 2, maybe at the most. Okay, so then a new start for me was Teresa Wentzler's The Storyteller. And I did a center start, and I'm pretty sure I'm just in like the purple area of his belly. And I decided to just stitch them on just a plain opal. Well, it's not plain, it's opal, but white opalescent. That's the progress I got on those guys. And I stitched on this one for 3 days. I'm happy with my start on that. And then I'm going to swap these out here a bit. Oy. The Princess and the Dragon from the Cross Stitch Myth and Magic. Whoop. And my neighbor's mowing, sorry. And I worked on the start of I got further up his wing and a little bit more on the sleeve of her dress. And they are on an actual plane, Lugana. Oop. I think this was just antique white. So I'm pretty sure I worked on mostly this area and I think I got in here a little bit. And I did 5 days on them. And last but certainly not least is, excuse me while I just shove things around. Oh, whoop, almost had an avalanche. I dug into The Guardian. It was a kit that my husband got for me a couple Christmases ago. Another center start, and I'm right in this section of his body. I was silly thinking I can just pop this open and just start stitching, and there was quite a bit of organization that had to happen, so I think I ended up spending my stitching time one night just organizing everything, which is fine. It came on a lot of these cards, and I just had to kind of cross-reference and write down the DMC numbers and restrand them through so they were a little bit more secure because they were just kind of like strung through once, and I was at risk of having them fall out. But we're all nice and tidy, and then I've decided to start, and I did it for the Storyteller too. I'm just using these cheap cards that you can buy. You can probably just make your own with manila folder and a hole punch, but just for the blends, which has been working pretty well so far. And I'm just using everything that came with it. And it's just a slightly off-white Lugana. Oops. I think it goes this way. Okay. And I worked on him for, I have it all written down. Where is it? Where is he? 4 days. Not too bad for 4 days. Once I got in the groove, I felt like I'm happy with my progress. The only other Teresa Wentzler I have that I have not started is the Unicorn, which I put into a different grouping of charts, which is up. It's in the running for December, so we'll see No, sorry, not in the running for December. It's in the running for November. Woo, I got myself confused. Which leads me to what I'm going to stitch on for the month of November. So just to recap, I did this video once already and screwed up, so I had to start over. So I might have forgotten what I've said already or said in the last video. So I put it out there for you guys to vote. I think I already did tell you this. So I had 4 groups to choose from. 3 each got 1 vote. So I'm going to do like a tiebreaker, I guess, on this little wheelie thing. And then that'll show you what I'm going to stitch on for November. And then I'll show you what you have for choices for me to stitch on in December. So hopefully I got that all right. So it's just a spinny wheel app. And I put, so the choices that it came down to were Month of Dragons 2, Month of Fantasy 1, and Month of Fantasy 2. Well, that picked nothing. What the heck? All right, well, we're going to spin it again. Fantasy 1. Okay. Fantasy 1. Excuse me. I'm going to reach down. Speak of the devil. Guess what's on top? Teresa Wentzler's a unicorn. And this is in the book, The Best of Teresa Wentzler Fantasy Collection. I had kitted this up a really long time ago, before I had any of the others. And I think I started The Princess and the Dragon first because it looked less intimidating to me. But now that I've dipped my toe in that world of Teresa Wentzler, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable. I'm not going to show you the fabric because it's just plain black. So that is one of the things I'm going to stitch on in November. And that'll be a new start. This is also a new start. This is The Winter Fairy Spirit by Laura Latuda. Which this is the one I tried to dye fabric for, that ugly fabric that you saw earlier. And then I decided that if I was going to ever pair her up on a wall with Midsummer Night's Fairy, which I think they'll complement each other pretty well, I'm going to go with similar fabric. So I just got a natural linen, which is very similar to what Midsummer Night's Fairy is on. And that will be another new start for November. And then we have Firefly Fairies by Lavender and Lace, which I did not do the bleachy starbursty thing. I decided to stitch them on a Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Amazing Grays in 28 count linen. And it's ombre, and my hope was that they would just pop on the black, but that's what I have so far. I can't remember when I took them out last. This fabric is really nice. I am just struggling with it. I think just because I'm not as good at linen as other people are. Anyway, and then, oof. So this month is going to be 3 new starts for me. My goodness. Okay, so this is Lily Pond Dreams by Black Swan. I discovered Black Swan. What did I get first? I think I might have got Avatar first. So I have Avatar, Lily Pond Dreams, and then I have another, I can't remember the name of the dragon. So I got a wizard, a fairy, and a dragon from Black Swan. I just thought she was cute. I like the colors. I like the butterflies. I don't think these are supposed to be lilacs, but it just reminds me I have lilac bushes out here, and they're my favorite. So I'm going to stitch on those 4 in the month of November, plus my 2 focus pieces. And so I'm just going to kind of show you guys what I would like you to choose for me to stitch, or what I would like you to choose out of, you know what I'm saying. I'm going to have you vote again for my for my projects for December, so that by the time I do my November wrap-up, I'll know what you guys chose for me. And if I don't get a lot of votes, or it's the same kind of a thing where I only get, or if something ties, we'll just spin the wheel in. So, and I thought I would change it up a little bit. So the 2 that didn't win, because somebody did vote for those, I'm going to put those back in the running. And so that would be a Month of Fantasy 2, which, excuse me, I'm bending down again. I just don't have all the room in the world on these little tables. So this is the Month of Fantasy 2, and it would include Bella Filipina's Mayari. This would be another new start. And I'm going to do her, whoop, this happened to me last month. I went to show you and I had all the flosses tucked in the fabric and then I lost them. So let's just take those out of there. I think I'd learn. This is Phantom in linen by Pitches Plus. I love this fabric. I had been waiting and waiting for something to give me a reason to buy this fabric. I just think it's gorgeous. And I think she's going to look great on it. Right, I'm going to stick all this back in here again. Hopefully I'll remember next time. So that goes along with Avatar, Black Swan. And this is where I am on him. This is where I am on him. Sorry. This is just a 28 count linen. Honestly, I don't remember what it was called. It came as like a little, kind of like a kit. It came with the chart and the beads and some of the metallics in this. I think it's a Nordic blue maybe. Right, and then it would also go along with the Celtic Twilight by Joan Elliott, which I started her on Barnwood Lugana from Picture This Plus, and that's where I am on her. And then last but not least, if you chose that grouping, it would also include, yep, Magnificent Wizard by Dimensions. I got this for my birthday. It's another kit to figure out how to work on. So that would be a choice for Fantasy 2, and then the other one that didn't win this month was A Month of Dragons 2, which would include Ink Circles Earth, which this is where I am on that one. I'm just going to show these real quick because I am going to do a whip parade, but not until the I get through December. It would also include a new start that would be Elemental Dragons Water, as well as, let's see. Oof, okay, hold on, where are we at here? Whoop, those are my ink circles. Losing myself. Celestial Dragon by Joan Elliott. Another new start. Good grief. I guess that's why I kind of went to this format, because then I can start some new things, which I normally would be afraid to do. Start so many things. And I'm going to be stitching this one on the other half of the fabric that I stitched my Lilith on. This side of it I just thought looked a little more spacey. That's Hyacinth from, wait a second. I can't remember the company's name. I don't think they're dyeing fabric right now. Anyway, it's not Chromatic Alchemy. It was Cross Stitch Boutique. That's where I got that. And then to go with that would also be, so there'd be 4 dragon charts. It would be another new start. 3 baby dragons, which I just have black fabric to stitch on. So that would be Month of Dragons 2, Month of Fantasy 2, and then I thought we would just change it up a little bit and give you some other choices. So if you love full coverage, I put together a month of full coverage as a choice, which is going to be Thread Geeks edition. So it would be all 4 of my Thread Geeks chart, which I am doing Love and Valor. And that's where I am on them. These are all with the exception of ones that I have already started. This is Chocolate Lab in the Snow, which I started when we lost our Chocolate Lab last month. Not last month, my goodness, last year. Let's bring him on that, and that's 1/1 full cross, but I can't remember if that's 25 count or 28 count. Might be 28. And then I also am doing Outlander, which comes back on this month. So I'm excited. This is definitely 28 count. So that other one was 25 count. And I am doing them 2/1 and half cross. And if you guys chose Thread Geeks to do, that's also going to have me start Alchemical Wedding, which is a biggie. And hopefully I figured out and calculated all the flosses correctly, because I bought them from their CXC flosses, and I bought them from somebody who no longer sells from Canada, who she was lovely and helpful. And I just grabbed, it's just a plain, it's not gridded, so wish me luck. Oh, that, you know what, talking about CXC reminds me that I actually did also buy a little flat iron just for flosses. And I will say, I think I like flat ironing my flosses before I use them, because the CXC can be a little fluffy and challenging sometimes. And I've been using this for this last month, and I really do like it. I'm glad that I have it. So I can thank Sharky Stitcher for doing a little tutorial on that, because that inspired me to buy it. And then the other fourth choice, for if you're interested in seeing me stitch for December, I just thought I'd grab a bunch of, I think I titled it like Month of Movies. And it would include Magic Castle by Owl and Thread. This picture cut off on the sides. It is a full. This is my Hogwarts themed. I think I started this for my birthday last year, and I haven't stitched on it since. And this is just on a rather stiff. I should have washed it. I think it's 18 count Ada. So that's where I am on that. And then I've got, it's the Princess Bride chart that I got. It's the first edition book cover. That's what it is. And I definitely dyed a fabric so that I did not have to stitch all that red. So I started this in, I think, March or April, because I remember showing you guys we had a big snowstorm, a big crazy April heavy snowstorm that knocked out power to my work, and I was able to just have a snow day and stitch. That's where I am on that one. I was actually really happy with my dyeing on that one. I thought it looked just like I wanted it to look. And since it's a month of movies, I also pulled out one of my Alien charts. This is from Charting Creations, which is just called Alien, and I am doing this also 2/1 half cross on 28 count. And that's where I am on them. And then the only other one I put in that group was also, give my nerdy side some love in here, was the Hobbit Door by Dusky Stitches. I'm kind of doing a little conversion and doing it all in browns and tans, because I decided it needed to look earthy, and I'm doing it on a fabric flare that I can't remember the name of. And this is also 18 count Ada, and that's where I am on that. I just thought it would look more like the Shire. So, okay, I think that's all I needed to show you. So if you guys can vote, this will be for what I'm going to stitch on in December. Oh, but that also leads me thinking of December. No matter what you guys vote for or whatever gets spun on the wheel, I'm at least stitching on my Madonna and Child for Christmas Day. Usually we don't travel very far, so I usually have some time on my hands. On Christmas Eve, which I actually happen to have off. So we'll have to sneak her in, or them in, I should say, which I am stitching them on another Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. This is hand painted After the Rain. I'm going to open it all the way up. It's got a few falling leaves. Last time I took them out, I worked on getting up to her head so I could make sure I spaced her right. So they have to come out for Christmas. Anyway, so if you guys can vote what you want me to stitch on in December, I will write all the choices down in the description box, and if I don't have a clear winner, I'll just spin the wheel again. So thank you for coming to spend some time with me, and I hope you guys have a nice November. Take care.